You've probably walked into a house before and just felt completely lost, right? Maybe the front door opens right into a bathroom, or you have to, I don't know, go outside just to get from the kitchen to the living room. Well, a website can be exactly like that. It's either a welcoming, easy to navigate home, or it's a confusing mess. So today, we're going to dive into the blueprint for building a digital home that everyone, and I mean everyone, loves to visit.
Imagine this, a house where every single room is sealed off. The only way you can get inside is by climbing through an exterior window. I mean, that sounds totally absurd, doesn't it? But honestly, that's exactly what a lot of websites feel like. Not just to us users, but to search engines too. When you don't have clear hallways connecting the rooms, or in our case, no logical links connecting the pages, your site just becomes this incredibly frustrating maze. And look, this kind of digital confusion, it's not just a small annoyance. It's a huge problem. It drives people away, and it leaves search engines completely clueless. So if your website is a confusing house, how in the world do you fix this architectural nightmare? How do you turn it into a place people actually want to be? Well, the answer, as with any good building project, starts with a plan. And that plan is a solid blueprint. I mean, you would never build a house without one, would you? Of course not. You need a plan. And in the digital world, that blueprint is your site structure. It is the absolute foundation for everything else you're trying to achieve online. So what even is site structure? Well, at its core, it's really simple. It's just the way you organize your website's content. But, and this is the crucial part, you're organizing it for two very different audiences at the exact same time. You need a clear path for your human visitors, the people actually using your site, but you also need one for search engine crawlers, the little bots that scan and index everything. A great structure serves both of them perfectly. So the ideal structure is actually pretty logical. Think of it like a pyramid. Right at the very top, you've got the foundation, your homepage. From there, it branches out to the main floors, which are your key categories, or what some people call topic silos. And then inside each of those categories, you find the individual rooms, your specific articles, your product pages, and all your subpages. This creates a really clear, logical path for anyone or anything to follow. Okay, so we've got the rooms designed. Now what do we put inside them? This is where the strategy has really changed over the years. We've moved away from an old school tactic to a much smarter, more modern approach. See, in the past, it was all about keywords. You'd pick one single keyword and you'd build a whole page just around that. But that's the old way of doing things. Search engines today are so much smarter. They understand context, they understand what users are actually looking for. So the new way, it's all about focusing on topics. This means creating these big, comprehensive pieces of content that cover a subject from all kinds of angles, answering all the related questions a user might have. It is a fundamental shift in how we think about content. And the benefits of making this shift, they are massive. When you create these comprehensive topic pages, you naturally start showing up for a whole galaxy of related keywords. And because you're seen as a complete resource, your rankings just get better. And since you're genuinely helping people and answering their questions, they stick around longer. It all adds up to one incredibly important thing: building true authority in your subject. Now, having amazing content in perfectly organized rooms is fantastic, but it's pretty useless if nobody can move between them, right? We need to build the hallways and the doorways that connect everything together. And this is where something called information architecture and internal linking come into play. Information architecture, or IA for short, sounds kind of fancy, but it's really just those hallways we were talking about. It's how you group related content together into logical clusters. When search engines crawl these clusters, they get this crystal clear picture of what your site is all about, and that helps them recognize you as an expert on that topic. And the doorways that connect these hallways? Those are your internal links. But they do so much more than just guide visitors around. They help with the flow of something called equity. Just think of equity as reputation or authority. When one of your pages gets popular and trusted, internal links let you spread that positive reputation to other related pages all across your site. Here is a brilliant way to picture this: the Champagne Tower. I love this. Imagine your most authoritative page, let's say it's your homepage, is the top glass. Now, when it gets filled with champagne, which represents all that value from high-quality external links, that value overflows and trickles down to all the glasses below it, as long as they are properly connected with internal links. This is literally how you share authority across your entire site. Okay, this all sounds great if you're building a website from scratch, but what if your digital house is already built? And let's be honest, the layout is a total mess. How do you start a major renovation without bringing the whole structure crashing down?
It's a pretty scary thought, isn't it? You might have years of content and you know deep down the structure is all wrong, but that fear of just breaking everything, it's real. The good news is there's a smart way to handle this renovation and a very, very risky way. So we've got two main paths for this renovation project. The first one is super risky, changing a page's URL. This is like trying to physically move a room in your house. You break all the old pathways and you can lose all that hard-earned equity. But the second, much smarter method uses breadcrumbs. You know those little navigation links you see at the top of a page? By changing a page's breadcrumb trail, you can tell search engines it belongs in a new category without actually moving the page at all. You get all the organizational benefits, you keep all the value, and you avoid pretty much all the risk.
So let's pull all this together. Why does your website's blueprint matter so much? Because a strong site structure is the foundation for everything else. Seriously, without it, all your other hard work is going to have less impact. It's what helps search engines see you as an authority, and most importantly, it creates a helpful, seamless experience for the very people you're trying to reach. And that really just leaves us with one final question to think about. I want you to take a hard, honest look at your own digital presence. Is your website built to welcome visitors and guide them logically from room to room? Or is it a confusing maze that just leaves them looking for the exit? The answer could be the key to your success.